And who else? Where so we first stayed here and then we went straight to yeah. Right. Okay. Kari was a rising social media influencer, but when she set up two men and it resulted in them being murdered, she turned on everybody that she had conspired with to do this crime. Herself and her mother lied to the police on several occasions, and it was to the extent that she believed she was going to get away with the double murder of these two men. Come right in front of me, not very close. I've always said to myself, I'm a very good driver when it comes to this. I've been driving for 5 years, 45 years, and I said to myself, always keep it second to 3 seconds. Oh, God, always, and I said to myself, always done that. So this car's not close. I've always braked, so I was doing 60 and 70. I think 70 on the dual carriage or 60. I was doing 50 straight away. Went back, went to 50 to 60, went back. This car didn't do anything to me. I don't know, it's just a normal car going on the right to the left. The silver car, I don't know which brand it was, model. It comes zooming down. I've kept the second to 3 second full gap, and there's a blue lines in front and I'm at the back. This silver car's come and cut into the middle, so we're basically all of the cars very close. I braked and I said to my mom, what is this car trying to do? And my mom saying, "May, just keep your distance, everything's going to be okay. It's okay, just reckless being people, just recklessly notes all the way down. If there's any cameras, there's going to be cameras in everything. You must know there's no cameras." The victims were Saqib Hussein and Mohammed Izzajuddin. They were both aged 21 and they died instantly when their vehicle was wrapped off the A46 in Leicester during the early hours of the 11th of February last year. They crashed into a central reservation barrier and a tree and they died instantly from multiple injuries. The car then burst into flames. And minutes before this, Mr. Hussein, who was the passenger in the car, had made a call to the police, stating that he was being chased by people and they were about to ram him off the road and he was going to die. A murder investigation was launched and May Bukhari's mother, Ansar Bukhari, was arrested alongside Rish Jamal, Recon Karwan, Sanaif Gullah Mustafa, Amir Jamal and Natasha Akhtar from Birmingham alongside Mohammed Patel. They were all charged with the murder of Mr. Hussein and Mr. Ijazzuddin. The first trial fell apart and the judge reordered another trial, and it is only now, after 8 weeks in Leicester Crown Court, 4 of them have been found guilty of murder and 4 of them guilty of manslaughter. Mohammed Patel was found not guilty of manslaughter or murder. The police discovered during the investigation that Mr. Hussein was having a relationship with Answerin Bukhari. This had been going on for around 3 years, but Answerin was married and she tried to end the affair, and Mr. Hussein had made threats to expose her to her husband with sexual images and videos that they'd shared together. Answerin had said she would pay money to Mr. Hussein that he had spent during the relationship and also to get rid of the images. Mr. Hussein had agreed to meet her in a car park in Leicester. Mr. Hussein arrived in the car park in the Skoda Fabia that was driven by his friend Mohammed. CCTV showed the Skoda driving into the car park but immediately leaves when they realised that this has been set up. An Audi TT car and a Seat Leon car followed the Skoda out of the car park 2 minutes later. The cars then immediately started to chase them, and this is when Mr. Hussein made the phone call to the police. The collision itself was never caught on camera, but during May's interview she made a lot of different claims involving the fact that she knew nothing that was going on. Inquiries at the scene by the forensic collision crash investigator established that the Skoda Fabia had hit the central reservation and collided with a tree. The impact was so severe that the car split into 2 and the engine was detached from the vehicle. Mr. Hussein and Mohammed died instantly from multiple injuries before the fire took hold. The detailed police investigation retrieved hours of CCTV from different locations, and this included the lead-up to the incident that occurred. A tracker was fitted to the Audi TT, and this was a hire car, and it showed that it had reached speeds of up to 100 miles an hour during the chase. And the speed of the Skoda at the time of the collision was estimated to be 80 miles an hour. The tracker on the Audi TT showed heavy braking after the crash and reduced its speed to 62. The Audi and the Seat were said to have continued across the A46 before reaching a junction where 2 people were getting out of the vehicle. They inspected the damage to the car before getting back in and driving off. Both the Audi and the Seat Leon were found to have driven past the crashed vehicle before and later drove back past the collision site. None of them called the police. Answering Bukhari and Mehek Bukhari and Akhtar were arrested on the same morning of the collision. Rish Jamal and Kalba were arrested days later, and Amir Jamal and Gula Mustafa were arrested several months later. Senior investigating officer in the case, Mark Parrish, said this was a callous and cold-blooded attack that ultimately cost 2 men their lives. After setting Mr. Hussein and Mohammed up, chasing them at high speed and then ultimately running them off the road, none of the defendants made any attempt to help them or call the police. Instead, they all drove off and drove past the collision site and still offered no help. As the defendants found guilty were arrested, charged and stood trial, their lives continued and they tried to cover their own tracks and gave no concern for the victims' families. So they go all the way down. They couldn't cut into my car. I kept my distance. I was asking for today's 40 because there was no cars behind me. Going to 40. This car was not threatening me, but agitating the blue car. So the blue car went onto the right lane, which is the overtaking lane, and the silver car went onto the right lane with the same car as the blue. So then the blue car went onto the left, and the silver car gets to the left, and it was just harassing. Like the blue car was trying to let you go, like, go. You can go now because I'm letting you. But this silver car was not letting the blue car go. So I was thinking, okay, well they're not agitating me, they're not trying to put me off my driving. I'm going on my left lane. I'm further away from these cars. So, like I said, they were doing their own thing. I've gone past on the right lane. Now, the blue car's in front always, the silver car was behind. I've gone past, and I've gone further away from this car on the left side. And then the blue car has caught up with me on the right side. I don't know who they are. I didn't even see the silver car as well. And the silver car, all I hear is like a bang, but not a big bang. It was like you hit behind me, basically. The silver car hit the blue car as the bad touch. But you can tell the blue car is a bit faster. So at this moment, I goes, Mom, what is going on? What is wrong with I don't know if they're drunk, what are they trying to do to the blue car in general? So Mom was me, like I said, leave it. You're not involved. You don't know what's going on. You just go straight on and leave it. I was okay, that's fine. This blue car went straight now, and this silver car's gone behind. And as soon as I said, well, as soon as we see a slip road, we're gonna go to a slip road. Move on forward, and the silver car's hit the back of the blue car. The blue car, see, like Leon's gone, completely gone. As soon as I've turned around, the silver car's gone. Out from the, I can see, all I've seen is they've hit, and all I see is bright, like a swerve. The silver car swerved. He said that the families of the victims in the past 16 months have been through a lot, and the trials that they've had to go through have been heartbreaking. And he said, and the police said their heartfelt condolences to the families and thanked them for their cooperation throughout the investigation. It was May's mother's affair that led to a catalyst of events that led to the death of 2 men that didn't deserve to die and were far too young. This has also resulted in a mother and a daughter facing life behind bars for the choices that they made. The moment that May suggested to her mother that she could get people to hurt these men that were trying to blackmail her was the moment that she decided to become a criminal and was no longer a victim of crime. Her social media influence is now long but a myth and a dream of the past, and she threw everything away that she potentially could have got in the future by making these decisions that have affected the rest of her life, changed other people's lives forever. Saqib's family said that he was a very young man and he was kind and compassionate, caring and sensible, and they are struggling to come to terms with their loss. They are grateful to the court for everything they did to bring justice for their family, and Saqib's death has brought so much sadness to their family and so many people that knew him and cared about him. Everyone who knew Hashim, the driver of the vehicle that crashed, said his death was a massive loss to the family and the whole community that he was from. He was a cheeky young person and he was a very handsome man and he had a beautiful smile and was also good inside. Hashim would always put others first, and this is what he was doing that day when he agreed to help his friend to go to the meeting to make sure that he was okay. So when I send my condolences to the family of Sid, I think that really is worth it. So I really appreciate you joining me today and thank you for following this story of the past year. And I really want to hear what people have to say. Please don't forget to pay your respects in the comments. I'll be back again very shortly.